Hello and welcome to Visa Answer. Today's topic is about ECA in Canada or the skill assessment in Australia. Now, what is this? This is actually the very first step you would take to begin your immigration process. Now, this particular step is also required if you're looking at working in Canada or Australia for a work permit. It's also required by some employers to see if you are qualified or you are at par with an engineer or as an IT professional or whatever your profession is, that you are equivalent to the Canadian or Australian standards. Now, let's begin. What exactly is this process? This is an evaluation process, and the way the Canadian and the Australian process is different is the Canadians will come up and ask only about your education, and the Australians will ask for education and the work assessment, right? It's one step ahead. Now let me take the Canadian part first because it's easier and I can explain it better. Now the most used body, now they've designated bodies for this process. Now what does this do? This actually takes your education credentials and we convert them to Canadian equivalent. Now, what does that mean? If you hold a bachelor's degree, that will be converted to a bachelor's degree in Canada. I mean, I'm not saying it will be converted. They will weigh your mark sheets and your credentials and your grades and the university you went to. Now, there are a lot of factors which play. Now, can somebody give you a guarantee that your degrees will get equivalent to Canada or Australia? No, we can't, because there are some factors which are unique to yourself. Like, for example, what country did you study in? What did you study? What year did you study? Now, when I say what year, that means like the curriculum you studied or the syllabus you studied is being compared to today's level, right? So there is a chance that if you went to college in 70s or 80s and you studied IT, so I mean that's obsolete. So there are chances that you might not get an equivalency, but that's just not the factor. Then it also depends the duration. Like I gave an example in my previous video that my friends from Pakistan, they study for 2 years in bachelor's, and my friends from Egypt study for 5 years. So that plays a role. So this is exactly what we are talking about here. We get all genre of people, right, applying to go to Canada. So you could say the whole world, everybody's applying to Canada, and Canada gets all variety of applications. 2 years bachelor's, 3 years bachelor's, a bachelor's with a double degree, master's and whatnot, right? So everything is combined together and weighed equivalent to a Canadian or an Australian degree, and then they give you a result saying your bachelor's or your education, to be precise, is equivalent to a master's, bachelor's, a postgraduate, or whatever it comes down to be. Now, we as migration agents have access to country education profiles, and we can actually give you a slight idea as in what level your education degree is. Now, what do I mean by this? The system works as in each country has an education profile. The universities are divided in level 1, level 2 and level 3 degrees. So what does that mean? If you belong to level 1, that means the university in your country is at very good level, so passing in any grade is okay. Level 2 means it's a medium degree, like medium university, and you need higher grades to passing out from there to get an equivalency. And then you get level 3, which means the university in your respective country is not that good, but we recognize the university, and you need to qualify or you pass in a little higher grade as in to get a positive assessment. Now coming back, now which are the bodies? Now I'm mentioning all the 5 bodies which take care of the assessment. So it starts with WS, being the most popular in Canada, then ICAS, CES, then we've got for Quebec we got MIFI, MIFI, got IQS, and so there are 5 of these which take care of your ECA, which is Education Credentials Assessment. Now coming back to the larger topic, which is with Australia, the skill assessment. Now the Australians do this in, I would say, more tedious or precise manner, because the education is combined with your experience as well. Now they've got about 40 of these assessment bodies, so it's practically impossible for me to come up and tell you which body will best suit you. Sometimes you have two or more than two assessment bodies which link with your profession, and you need somebody to tell you which is the best suitable. Like, for example,
the three assessment bodies for accountants are the Chartered Accountant, like the CPA Australia, the Chartered Accountant Australia and New Zealand, and Institute of Public Accountants. Now these are three different bodies dealing with accountant professions, like accountants as in auditors, internal auditors, corporate treasurers, taxation accountants, and management accountants. Now it depends upon what's your profile and which one do you choose to, because they all specify and they specialize into their own categories. Now similarly, teachers, I give this example quite often. Teachers vary from kindergarten to lower school to high school to universities, lecturers. So where do they go to? And the assessment bodies change similarly. So that's your profession as related to what assessment body would you go to in Australia.
Now these generally, both Canada and Australia, they do charge you a fees. Of course, there are so many of them, so every assessment body has a different fees. But to give you a ballpark figure, the Canadian assessment is ranging somewhere between $300 to $400 Canadian. The Australian fees ranges between the range of about lower 1100s and 1200s, depends upon what services you are taking, and the processing time here is somewhere around 3 to 4 months. Some assessment bodies might take longer, and it all depends upon what is involved. Sometimes with the medical bodies, they require some exams to be taken, and it might take longer as for you to pass the exam. And we can take up that on, as I always say, on this page you've got on my website you've got an appointment booking date, so you can go there, book an appointment, and I can give you a slight idea how much money and time will the skill assessment take. So this was to round up the ECA or skill assessment. So we do topics like these quite frequently. Any topic you want us to cover, please comment here or send us a message. We will be more than happy to cover those topics. And do like and share this page with your family and friend to learn more about immigration process to Australia or Canada. Thank you.